is on some streaming.
And now, soccer fans from across the DMV, led by the USL Best Supporters Club, the Stampede, it's time to get up and salute the starting 11 wearing the red and white for your Loudoun United! On the bench, from Fresno, California, number 3, Keegan Kingy. At midfield, representing Notre Dame, number 4, Tommy McKay. On defense, from Troyes, France, number 5, Yanis Learman. On defense, everyone's favorite Canadian left back, number 6, Wame Awuba. At midfield, a Loudoun United original, number 8, Moses Simon. At forward, hailing from home France, number 10, Florian Bowe. At midfield, the man known as Starboy, number 11, Ability Abukora. Leading the front line, your captain, number 14, Zach Ryan. On defense, hailing from Charleston, Maryland, number 16, Cole Turner. On defense, from Richfield, Connecticut, number 20, Ben Fine. And your starting goalkeeper, the man who was just awarded last week's Jägermeister Top Table Around, number 23, Hugo Maroon. And the head coach of Loudoun United is Brian Martin.
Welcome one and all to the buzzy streets of Loudoun, Virginia, where there is a kinetic vibe in the air today. It's a tilt between the East Tabletop, Loudoun United at the gate, and ready to meet pack leaders Charleston Battery on a Saturday. This one.
Yeah, you're looking at two of the teams that have got off to a rocket start so far in the USL Championship. Loudoun Some might say surprising, some might not say surprising given how they've got better over the years, but they're definitely looking very good for their money right now. I'll be interested to see if they can continue this form. Charleston Battery, no doubt, pick off where they left off the past couple of seasons, up the top of the table, some fantastic performances, and still without Mark Hannick, produce one of the best offensive teams in the league.
And that bears out in the statistical profiles between the two teams. Offense has not been hard to come by. This is the recent run for both of these two sides, and you can see Charleston Battery 7 games unbeaten, their longest run of winning games in the USL Championship for one of the historic sides in this division.
Yeah, I think for Charleston Battery, obviously their strength lies in their offense. Jennings has been on fire so far this season, and Torres has been able to provide assists but also create opportunities for himself. Loudoun, on the other hand, Abukura has been the main man so far for them this season, as we'll see shortly.
As for the team that's coming into the venue today, Charleston Battery, Cal Jennings on the precipice of history. He's gone 9 consecutive games with a goal or assist, with another today would set the league record.
Yeah, I don't think you can question his statistics over the years as a goal scorer. Early in the season, maybe he was getting a lot of chances, wasn't converting, but he's now picked up that momentum and that form and that confidence. 11 goals so far this season is a tremendous output, and he finds various ways to score. Left foot, right foot, corners, penalties. He's been on fire so far this season.
For the home team, a star in equal measure, Abdulatif Abukura has been as good as anybody in the USL Championship in the Big 25.
Yeah, he has a little bit of everything, this young player, and I expect big things from him in the future. He can take players on, he can be crafty in possession of the ball, he can create opportunities for his teammates, he can convert himself, but more than anything, he's so tenacious in his defensive efforts when the team turns over possession of the ball.
Ticking down toward kickoff to the East very best in action between the lines today in Virginia. Folks, you're not going to want to adjust your set. The absolute marquee event in the USL Championship this weekend is live in moments.
Meet Bob.
Did you sign up for your boating class?
Nah, I gotta learn how to swim first.
Meet Abisola.
New shoes?
They are a lifestyle.
They fell in love and now have a blended family.
You are a bad influence.
You're welcome.
Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abisola loves Bob.
Everything's gonna be great.
And Bob hearts Abisola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
What kind of future do you want? You have something worth fighting for.
Failure is not an option. Anyone? Just a second, Bradley. Anyone?
On this field, winners are born.
Hold on to your butts.
I know who did it.
I know why.
My thing's bigger.
Shut up.
Settle up, partner.
Here goes nothing.
Get your game on.
Thanks for coming after me.
We look forward to our very bright future.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days.
Unlock that phone for me. What's in there that you cannot show me?
See what's taking over everybody's feed.
You did try to gaslight her. You did try to mislead her. You did try to manipulate her.
I don't even worry about that at all.
This is a lot of chaos from the beginning.
Are live all season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Everything unfolding. A side in red, a side in white at the top of the table. It's Charleston Battery and Loudoun United. United with every intention of staking a claim of intent here in 2025. Peyton Gallagher with Chris Nurse. And Chris, the lineup for Ryan Martin, that 4-4-2 has unlocked so much for them this year.
Yeah, and it's the combination of Abukura, Valot, and Ryan in the attacking third that really has an impact on this team right now. They've been good defensively, but it's really been those three that have really set this team on fire. It's going to be interesting to see how Abukura is able to influence this team tonight, but the defense is going to have to be on top of their game, given they're coming up to Charleston Battery, who have 25 goals scored so far this season, which is the highest in both conferences.
In fact, Chris, it is the longest streak in league history for this Charleston Battery of consecutive games with 3 or more goals. this is one of the fastest firing teams the league has ever seen.
Yeah, they're on a hot streak of wins right now, and there's a lot of quality in this team, both in defense and in offense. Two very attacking teams that we're coming up against tonight, but Myers, Jennings, Torres, these are some of the best defensive players right now in the USL Championship. We wondered how this team was going to react in the post-Marcanic area, and they do it just fine right now.
Extremely fluid shape for Ben Pierman. Two of the best managers in the league, two of the freest scoring sides in the league. It does not get better on a sun-kissed Saturday, just outside the nation's capital. And we are up and in action. Loudoun United, Charleston Battery, Eastern Conference from Segra Field. And talking to both managers, Chris, in the build-up to this game, both feel the first 15 minutes or so could be crucial in determining which team's style of play is more imposing.
Yeah, similar to last week against Louisville City. It was a very aggressive first 15 minutes of games, and then you have to become a lot more strategic and methodical in how you approach the game. So expecting a similar game tonight. Charleston obviously known for their pressing. Loudoun press very high. Expecting it to be a very fiery opening to this game.
It was actually Loudoun United's first ever victory against Louisville City. A sign of the times and the direction of travel for this organization and team in 2025.
Yeah, what's also more impressive, I think that might be one of the only times, if not the first time this season, that Louisville City have conceded multiple goals in a game. Right now in the USL Championship, they've only conceded 5 goals in their opening 10 games, so they actually have the best defensive record so far in the USL Championship, and Loudoun were able to penetrate that and get the victory in the Jägermeister Cup.
Artur Rodriguez. And then Hosu, second all-time in appearances for Loudoun United, now in the opposing side's colors for this one.
A few records up for grabs this evening. Valo is about to make his 150th USL Championship appearance. Very experienced player at various levels with a number of teams.
This side on the ball now. Valo's been something of a revelation for this Loudoun outfit this year. So important to connecting the dots between Awua, him, and Abu Kora on this near-hand side as Valo gets a touch.
Yeah, he's looked fitter, he's looked more invigorated. He's had a lot of influence so far this season. Miami FC, maybe early when he arrived here, he wasn't as influential as he is right now.
TE down the line. Ben Mines unable to loop into the corner. That press in full flow early for Loudoun, picking the ball up high. Nyman. Kept by Abu Kora. And this is where Loudoun are at their best.
Yeah, and this is I wouldn't say new, but you see dominance, you see confidence, you see a style of play. They have a little bit of everything to their game. They have flair, they have tenacious players, they have irresolute defenders, and as we spoke about, Abu Kora has a little bit of everything in the attack.
I think the biggest thing is continuity. Just talking to Ryan Martin in the build-up to the game, said to us that he really can't recall a time with Loudoun United in which they've had more than 4 players coming back for another season. This year there are 10 players, top 20 all-time for the club in minutes and appearances, and that kind of connectivity has really shown up.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that you can't take for granted. It's one thing putting a group of talented players together. It's another thing making them gel and being cohesive and have chemistry. And I think the Champions League would have taught us that lesson. PSG, you could say, maybe have less stars in previous, having consistency in the lineup and the team.
Apparently the key is just have 70% of your players be 25 or younger.
I don't know about that. Messi's still doing a good job. Ronaldo scored a winner for Portugal. There's a couple out there above that age. He still managed to make it happen.
Fair point, fair point. Here's one of those youngsters, though, Abu Kora, infield for Mines. Mines dispossessed. Advantage played and slotted out of touch for a goal kick. A high degree of physicality early on. Nabil Bensalah is the center official. He'll be in charge, one of the league's very best. And this is the chance for Loudoun.
Chance. Definitely didn't quite connect with this as cleanly as he would have liked. Looked more like a defensive clearance than a shot on target.
Hosu. lot of bodies committed forward for Loudoun. And it comes good. Into the center. Wide for Abukora, who lets it ride. Abdulatif Abukora rounding to the end line. Cutting in is Awua. Covered by Aaron Malloy. And cleared out from the back by Charleston Battery. This is not how Ben Pierman wanted the game to start.
Yeah, we expected a fast start, but again, it's definitely Loudoun today being the aggressor. They've got Charleston pinned back in their defensive half right now and controlling the possession of the ball and creating chances. Nothing open or clean goal scoring chances yet, but they're definitely the ones banging at the door right now.
Would be remiss not to mention that Loudoun have maybe a little bit extra to play for beyond just all the circumstance at the top of the Eastern Conference. This is the team that knocked them out of the playoffs on the final day last year. Trying to make the postseason for the first time as a club in 2025. Warren Valleau in the driver's seat. Tingy cutting in, cutting out. Keegan Tingy punched into the area and punched away by Zamudio. And they're going to say it's a goal kick.
Not sure if this is intentional here from Mines, but if it is, it's a great strike. Zamudio, I doubt he was expecting this one to come on target, but I want to believe Mines just tried to guide this back into the danger area, and it just became a little bit more dangerous than Zamudio would have liked.
Kind of instructive, though, to how quickly Loudoun can get those forwards forward into the attack like that. Dos Santos. Bit of a risky ball into the center. Hosu hammers wide. One of the brightest creative players in the league, J.D. Torres, opens things up. Cal Jennings, first touch. Dispossessed by a backtracking Awua.
There you get a glimpse of how dangerous Charleston can be when they're going forward. Cut through Loudoun's shape like a knife through butter there, and unfortunate not to get a shot on target.
A quick yellow card for Nandan Hosu.
Quick is an understatement. We were speaking about this just before kickoff, and referees and their hastiness to give out yellow cards. I don't necessarily think there's enough in this to warrant a yellow card in the 7th minute of the game. For a player like Landry, Hosu, as a tenacious player, he's built on putting his foot in, making tackles, intercepting play. He now has to adjust his whole game for the remainder of the 83 minutes. And there's not much in this at all that really warrants a yellow card, if you ask me.
A little shove in the back, stops the attack, and the referee did not hesitate, went straight for the pocket. Yellow cards are presented by Continental Cards. Continental Cards, elevate your collection. And there's a collection for Nandan Hosu. His manager previous, Ryan Martin, talking to us, said he's gotten so much better in the tackle, felt like he was due for a red card every 10 games or so when he was with Loudoun. There's another collision there straight away.
The problem is now you pin your most creative player up against him, and one more badly timed tackle and he'll be heading down the tunnel early. So it's a little bit of a precarious situation. Hopefully he has the talent of being able to play on the edge, and he knows how to manage the referee and his time in the tackle so he doesn't get a second yellow, but he's definitely going to have to adjust how he plays for the remainder of the game.
Into the final third for Loudoun. How present of a thought is that in the minds of the players on the field thinking about a man already booked?
Honestly, I'm not sure players think about it enough. It always happens in wide areas with fullbacks, and the attacker at that point just has to keep going at him because he knows one more poorly timed tackle and he's going to be going for an early shower. But I don't think players really play on it as much as they could or they should throughout the course of the game.
A little bit of craft from Tingy trying to put it back in play off the back.
Very cheeky throw in there. Throws it against the back of Loudoun and takes it back himself.
Seen it in basketball. Can't say I've ever seen it in this sport before.
I give it an A for creativity, but an E for effectiveness.
I think that's fair. Good grading. J.D. Torres getting involved. He's got license to roam. And this is why. What a ball that is. In behind Battery. What a save by Hugo Peru. The former Battery keeper denies his former club at point blank.
It's a great ball in behind there. Perfectly timed and weighted. Really should have done better. Charleston Battery should be 1-0 up with that opportunity. We spoke about Loudoun having the better of the possession and banging on the door a little bit more, but that was a great opportunity against the run of play for Charleston to take control.
Lucora has it pinched back off him by J.D. Torres. And that is why Torres has the license to cover so much ground, willing to put in the extra defensive work to get back behind and regain structure as he gets on the ball here. Ben Pierman, head of the match, said he's the most clever player he's ever coached. JD Torres, one to watch.
Yeah, I think he has a little bit of everything. He's clever, he has quality, he drifts into pockets where people don't want to follow him. He can create chances for his teammates, he can convert chances himself. He's exceptional at dead ball situations, free kicks and corners.
Involvement has gone up in a big way this year, up to 77 touches per game, nearly 12 more than he had last season, pacing the league in all creative categories. On top of that, he's taken 36 shots this year, just to illustrate the goal dangerousness that he provides.
Yeah, I think you have to give Ben Pierman a lot of credit. We all questioned and wondered how would they replace the 35 goals that Marcanic was able to bring last year. And again, they're leading goal scorers in the USL Championship this season with 25 so far. And they don't look like slowing down. So you have to give the coach a lot of credit for the players he's recruited, but also the freedom and the offensive style that they've been able to play so far this year.
Joe Rodriguez making the space claustrophobic. Loudoun, Abukora in the center. Abdulatif Abukora! Well, he's good for it. Tested the target. This time Zamudio answers the bell.
Yes.
This portion of the match is brought to you by DCW 50.
Will beings from another world come to Earth?
How long's a galactic year?
250 million years. Or could aliens live among us already? The Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
Entertaining start to this one, just beyond 10 minutes gone. Any early impressions, Chris Nurse?
Abukora just had a fantastic opportunity. He has so much spark about him. He has something special. He's a player that fans really enjoy to see. He has the ability to get you off your seat, and of course, these are the ones that make a lot of money in the future, and he has big aspirations as a player, and I'm pretty certain he can go on to accomplish his goals.
This is really the first time in his career that he's done more than just have flashes. It's been so consistent, so present, and he has been the one that's really brought this Loudoun project to life this year.
Yeah, and this is, with young players, they can often fluctuate in terms of consistency and performances. 20 years old, as you alluded to, Champions League, average age 23. Maybe at 20 you're not viewed as being a young player anymore. Maybe 20 is the new 30, who knows, but he has a lot to bring, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody peaks at different ages. I think at 20 I was still definitely a very young player. I was still learning my trade at that age, definitely not competing or winning Champions League. But you're seeing it becoming more and more frequent, younger players being given a chance.
Skipping into the lap of Aaron Malloy, rather I should say Hugo Farouk, put there by Aaron Malloy. Have you ever lived in a time where the best player in the world might be 17 years old?
I mean, they're doing the comparisons of what Messi, Ronaldo, and everybody did at 17, and Lamine Yamal seems to be way ahead of all of them in appearances, let alone accomplishments. And you do have a little concern if he can sustain that, because it does have a wear and tear on your body, the number of games that you play, and you compare the number of games he's played at this age compared to some of the senior players who have had similar accomplishments, and he's done a lot. 17 years old, so you obviously want to see him play for as long as possible. You wonder how that amount of games at such a young age is going to have an impact on maybe his longevity as a player.
You said it, Abdulatif Abukora, already top 10 all-time in appearances for Loudoun United. Players are getting the opportunity early. We'll see how that affects the game in years to come, but in the present tense, it's a discussion being had between Emile Ben-Salah, JD Torres, and Aaron Malloy. Over the top from Learman. Something Loudoun have done much better this year, mixing in that direct long ball.
Yeah, I think that this 2-week spell has been is going to finish off as being a tremendous test for Loudoun to see how much or what they're really made of.
It's a well-shaped cross. Zamudio cuts in front.
Last week, obviously, a strong performance, a victory against Louisville City.
He drops off now a quarter hour in. It's a bit cheeky from Arturo Rodriguez. Something to think about at the back. Torres down the line. Foul given. All-time between these two familiar foes. Battery lead the all-time series 8-3-1. They've not lost in quite some time. Undefeated in the last 10, dating back to 2019. Again, Loudoun would hope to serve a little bit of cold revenge against the team that ended their season a year ago. Dos Santos fighting off Ben Mines and took his eye off the ball.
Interesting how Loudoun adapt how they build out the back right now. Being pressed against with two strikers. Tingy, let's see if he gets creative with his throwing again here.
I can't imagine that trick works twice. JD Torres. Hard off the chest of Nyman. Somebody's going to win it. And this is a dangerous free kick. Aaron Malloy, as good as they come. Not only in the USL Championship, but really in this country on dead balls. The league's most dangerous side from dead ball situations cast their attention toward the target. That's a bit cheap to give away for Loudoun.
Yeah, you have both Malloy and you have Torres standing over this. A lefty and a righty. Both possess the quality to put this into the back of the net. Looks like Malloy is definitely taking the dominant role in this set piece.
This is the perfect distance, just enough time to get it up and down, close enough to really get some shearing velocity on your strike. Long shadows from Aaron Malloy and JD Torres. Battery have scored 5 goals from outside the box this year. It's the most in the league. Aaron Malloy straight into the barricade. Torres tries it again, and that's not going to cut it. I'm going to let you pick through the bones of this. Tell me what it means. Aaron Malloy is the league's leader in shots from outside the box. He's got 36. That is 21 more than anybody else.
He obviously fancies himself from distance, and his teammates trust him to take long shots, and it's not an accident. If he's able to take Torres off set pieces, you know that he has some quality if you give him time and space at the edge of the box, and he can make you pay. So he's obviously gambling on something that he values as one of his strengths, his ability to score from distance from outside the 18-yard box. So it's something that Loudoun will have to pay extremely close attention to.
Abukar in a dangerous area. This is the connection down that left side that's been so good for Loudoun. Unable to make it stick, though, at the edge of the 18. But a clean winning of possession and chipped up in behind. Ryan will run onto it. Abukar.
Well, I had the ball on the edge of the box there. He opted to try and dink it over the back four rather than get the ball out of his feet and take a shot himself.
That's really been the story of the game so far. 20 minutes gone. It's been what we expected. The level of quality has been there, just not that real chance to sink the teeth into.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slugfest. Maybe lacking a little bit of quality and patience in possession.
And a caution being shown. You said slugfest, and it was right on cue.
This one, Lehman times his tackle. It's a little bit late and similar in line with the yellow card that was issued to Husu.
Yellow cards are presented by Continental Cards. Continental Cards, elevate your collection. And it's turning into a bit of one. the first 20 minutes. That's already the second yellow of the match.
Myers' touch just gets away from him a little bit there and turns the second one into a 50-50. He does get to the ball first, but Lehrman with a strong tackle.
Only his second caution of the year in the league.
Yeah, well.
One to beat Torres, watching onto the pass from Blackstock. Hosu walks one right into the feet of Keegan Tingy. Maybe a bit of a bailout there, was heading the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's lucky. I think it's Tingy there. Just miscontrolled that pass from Hosu.
Zamudio. And Edwards. And Dos Santos. This is Nanan Hosu pulsing one wide. Blackstock, a bending run from Cal Jennings. Starving to get involved and quickly comes to a conclusion. Arua was back with the extra defensive effort.
Great pass from McCabe there. I think it was breaking lines, finding Velo in behind the midfield.
Clean tackle, apparently.
I think it was Hosu dangling a foot in there again. We've spoken about him already sitting on the yellow card. The referee says this one was fair, but again, has to be very, very careful.
Hosu on it now. There's Learman reaching out. Dos Santos on the front end. And Malloy. Charleston Battery, this is them working through the gears. Pumped in behind Dos Santos, can't control. A faulty first touch from Moses Nyman. Bello is tackled hard. Hosu already on the booking.
Yeah, well, this one's not a yellow card. He just has to be a little bit careful with the accumulation. I think the referee's just going to give him a warning here. Tell him to calm down and be careful.
Let's see if Bello maybe makes a meal out of this.
Smart from Velo. He knows that Hosu's on a yellow, and any little contact, he's going to make it look far worse than it was.
Wiley vet, 31 years of age, but already 250 plus appearances at the professional ranks. Knew what to do when the ball was in his region. Hosu at his back. Spaces confined in their own end for Loudoun United. Malloy pushed along. JD Torres serves in. That was Blackstock. Torres was roaming around the box and thrust clear. Torres wriggling.
Surgical pass there from Malloy.
It's really a common theme between both teams, the ability to break lines with a pass or a dribble. This time Torres maybe overcooks the cross down to Dos Santos and ducked away from danger. USL kicks off the month of June on ESPN2 with a battle of Eastern Conference powerhouses. Last season's Player Shield winner, Louisville City, in action against, of course, Rhode Island FC, the team that ended their season last year in pursuit of an Eastern Conference crown. That match will be kicking off on Wednesday, June 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Coming into the year, it really was the three favorites in the East. Loudoun was not part of that short list. Rhode Island, Louisville, and Charleston. Loudoun proving today that they are up amongst the big boys and good for that level of competition. They've taken it right to Charleston Battery. See if Tini and Velo have any more rehearsed shenanigans for the throw. Battling forward is Blackstock. Back to Zamudio. Stung forward. And paved in behind. What a ball this could be. Cal Jennings is arriving towards the box. Swept up out of the back by Faroux.
Good position in there from Faroux, anticipating the ball coming in behind. Was able to beat Jennings in the race. Cleared the ball away from danger for Loudoun.
Very quietly, he's become one of the league's absolute best goalkeepers. Part of that Charleston Battery team in 2022, the year before Ben Pierman got in the folds. Conceded the most goals of any goalkeeper in a single season in club history. It was such a dark point for the club, but ever since then, all ace has been Pierman, chief culprit. Charged along for Blackstock. Torres. Arula in front. JD Torres spots him into the back post. Faroux is up for it.
Torres able to move the ball so quickly and get his cross in. Just shifts it half a yard and whips it into the box. Just a little too high and made it a little easy for Faroux to come and claim the cross, but just has so many tools in the attacking third that he can use to try to unlock this defense.
Second most in the league in terms of chances created for JD Torres. For those uninitiated, that just immediately means any pass that leads to a shot. Good indicator of the kind of creator that JD Torres is. Hold strong there. Using the full width, Charleston Battery. Dos Santos bending in. Decent ball, what a save from Faroux. Breathtaking stuff in goal. It was MD Myers who got the look.
It's the second chance that Myers has had to get himself on the score sheet tonight. Great delivery from Dos Santos here. Myers does well, guards it on target, but Faroux's well placed. Fantastic reaction save, tips this one over the crossbar.
Maybe a finger, if lucky two, but it keeps it square at 0-0. Battery have scored a league best 11 set pieces this year, 3 of them being corners.
Spoken about the quality of Torres' deliveries. Interested to see if he whips this in first time or if they use the 2 players that they have out. Sometimes teams like to put 2 players out just to drag a defender up from inside the box.
Battery have been towards the bottom of the league in terms of short corners this year. With such dead eyes at the flag, always a good choice to take it into the area, but not this time. They'll have to try again. Something was taking place inside the area that was not to the liking of the center official, Nabil Ben-Salah. Half an hour in, a chance for Charleston. Stiffly away at the near stick. Hosu hammering one towards goal and well too tall. Hugo Faroux is down.
Not something Loudoun will want to see in the 30th minute of the game. Hopefully it's something he's able to shake off, but it's very rare you see goalkeepers go down like this.
Ryan Jack is the backup today. He's yet to play in his rookie season this year in any competition. He'll be warming now, though. Faroux has maybe been the best player on the field so far.
Yeah, he's definitely been called in to make 2 or 3 big saves against the run of play, because as we mentioned, Loudoun did start the game being the most aggressive team out of the 2 on display tonight. on top of a huge performance last week as well. If you managed to catch up with the game last week against Louisville, he was definitely a contender for man of the match in that fixture also.
5 saves in the game. I believe he won save of the match week as well.
For the safety of the players, the referee has...
Play stops for a moment in the June sun.
This break will last.
And here is exactly the kind of impact that Hugo Frew has made so far. Good ball in early. This was Cal Jennings denied.
Big opportunity here. Brilliant ball over the top. Does well to take the ball into his path. Just unable to get it past Frew. Sticks the leg out. Mrs. Myers guides his header on target, but Frew was well positioned to push this one over the crossbar.
You'd have to guess as he comes up there, that may have been the moment that he actually overextended. Tough for a goalkeeper. You're not moving much throughout the course of the game, and then you have to react like that so quickly.
So they have to have such high levels of focus and concentration, because you may not be involved in the game sometimes for 20, 35 minutes, and then out of nowhere you're forced to come up with the save of the game.
Charleston Battery in the pause and play, it feels like they've been growing into the game a little bit more now.
Yeah, I think that's the danger. That obviously we spoke about the first 15 minutes and both teams not giving much away on either end. And as the game's gone on, they've started to build a little bit more confidence, create a couple more goal-scoring chances. They've been comfortable not dominating possession and hitting a little bit more in the counter-attack so far in this game. But as it's progressed, they've started to sustain longer periods of possession in the Loudoun half also.
Back in play. Only 13 touches so far.
Interesting, because this opportunity comes from a long direct pass from the back. Nobody attacks the first one, it bounces, he gets it under control, and it's not the best strike, he's a little bit ambitious, but start to increase the pressure as it goes on, and you'd rather your attacking players start to get shots off rather than not get shots off. Just to get the confidence and put the keeper under a little bit of threat and the defense to be a little bit shaky. They start to drop off, more spaces start to be created between the defense and the midfield, and then you get the opportunity to get the ball down and play.
And that's something you wanted to see them do a little bit more against that press from Louisville. Worked wide, worked into the middle. Empty Myers, can't get purchase, it's out for another corner.
Yeah, against Louisville, there was times when Louisville were pressing so aggressively high that the space was always there in behind them. So it made sense to play over them rather than trying to play through them. And there's moments when they had a lot of success when they recognized that.
They dig in to defend again. JD Torres at the ready, played short. Back into Torres, a better angle here. And straight into the head of Below. Battery go again. Torres in. Akpinonu. And some will say it's still going.
It's free to get his volley off there. The second ball can be so dangerous in and around the 18-yard box. You see, the first ball is cleared away, but he falls to the edge of the box with him in a lot of time and space.
The center back up that high. I think the Devil on the shoulder may have a louder voice most of the time.
I think both these teams have just found a way of cancelling each other out in the past 5 or 10 minutes.
Something that stuck out just in the lead into this game. Both managers, two of the shrewdest in the division. That goes without saying. The understanding it felt like they had of one another was distinct. And talking to these USL coaches, these two, such great tacticians, such great strategists, and the mutual respect one had for another, how they have decided to play the game with their respective teams this year. Nyman works himself out of a sticky situation. Swept wide for Awua. Now Loudoun get to pattern a little bit. Battery have done such a good job so far of staying touch tight, and maybe too tight there, Aaron Malloy. Based on some of the yellow cards we've seen so far, a little bit surprised that Malloy maybe doesn't see the colors there. Of course, I'm sure you're not complaining about that.
Yeah, Malloy's been good in this opening 30 minutes. He's been able to pick up the ball in front of the defense. He's found a way to break lines, 2 or 3 lines with some of his passes. Fantastic vision and execution. He gets himself high up the field.
Another direct pass in behind. Starting to become a bit of a trend from Loudoun.
Yeah, both teams not taking as much risk as maybe we've seen in other games so far this season, being a lot more, I want to say, thoughtful in their approach. Don't want to get caught playing out the back, not allowing the opponent to get set and press them in a collective shape. Trying to catch them out on the counter-attack, a little bit more direct ball.
It's interesting because really what's special about both these two sides is that they don't bow their head for anybody. So much confidence in the way they play. Something to track going forward. Zamudio. Torres, once more that space invader. Always needling, finding the pockets. Malloy.
Loudoun have to be so careful here because when Torres picks up the ball in the pockets and they put 3 players on the front line, so there's 3 players looking to make runs in behind at any moment. Fortunately enough, I don't think Torres' first touch quite took him where he wanted, but had it been at his feet and facing forward, he had 3 players in between the defenders for Loudoun making runs in behind, which is extremely dangerous.
Melodic passing. Dos Santos gets away from Arturo Rodriguez. Clattered out of play for what looks like a goal kick. It actually will be a throw and a chance to really get the press high for Charleston Battery.
From being quiet to having the most influential moment in the game and scoring the go-ahead goal. So it's interesting to see whether Charleston are doing a great job of shutting down the spaces that he's normally able to get into, keeping him quiet, or if it's just some of that inconsistency that you can sometimes see in young players.
Fair to say, it felt like Battery had maybe won the first 15 minutes. Everything since has belonged to Charleston Battery. A yellow card, it looks like maybe to the dugout of Loudoun United. There's a fan with a large yellow card just to prove the point.
Referee definitely has no favorites, whether it's players or staff. Not afraid to brandish his yellow card whatsoever.
Spun in behind, Zamudio will lay claim. This is a point of separation ahead of halftime. Torres tormenting, tangling, and unable to turn himself free. There's Abu Kurat that came back in defense. Can't keep hold of the ball though. Top of the area. Abu Kurat threading through. Well-weighted ball in behind. Ryan on the run. Zach Ryan, it's blocked.
Great ball in behind, but Loudoun was just unable to get support up quick enough to make anything of it. He tried to get the space to get the shot for himself, but was quickly shut down. What looked like a promising attack turned into not too much in the end.
It's been a bit of a frustrating year for Zach Ryan in terms of the raw goal scoring. He's had double digits each of the last 2 years, only 2 this season. Something that Ryan Martin has said he's been working with Ryan about. Knows the goals will be coming down the line, but occupies such an important job for Loudoun this year. Being that guy that holds down the back line, allows Velo maybe to drop in, get more involved. Apinonu. Nil-nil. 40 minutes in between seeds number 1 and number 3 in the Eastern Conference. The first third USL Championship season. This portion of the match is brought to you by DCW 50.
Meet Bob. Meet Abishola. Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abishola loves Bob, and Bob hearts Abishola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
Battery on approach. The wide areas sniffed out inside the 18. And below, senses an opportunity to get forward. Nyman. McCabe. Settling the tempo a bit as Tingy.
The warm temperatures definitely starting to have an impact in the game as it does in around the summer months. Just players lacking that willingness to make runs in behind because they know that sun takes a little bit more out of them when they got to recover, and I think that's what we're seeing. There's great opportunities for players to get forward, make runs in behind the defense, but they're just a little bit hesitant to make those runs forward, and they're the hard ones where the goals are normally coming from, where they're scored when midfielders aren't tracking you, the defender doesn't track you, that hard run that you make forward. I think the sun is definitely starting to have an impact, as we expect in the summer months, and teams start to amend their approach to the game. You can see Loudoun dropping a little bit deeper, not pressing as high as they normally do, allowing the defensive team to have possession of the ball and be more so of a mid-block than a high press.
79 degrees currently, but 65% humidity. Summer in the south. Test even the strongest lungs. Not yours, though. Full running for 90 minutes, yeah?
You have to do a bit of both. You have to be able to press for 5 minutes, then you have to drop off and keep your shape for 5 minutes. If you try to press all out throughout the duration of the game in that heat, you're going to find your players are going to die very quickly. So you have to go in bouts. You have to go and then take a little break at moments also.
Both these sides have cultivated a lot of depth this year, Battery especially, but a little bit stretched thin, you might say, this season to date just by injuries. And without a couple key players through a lot of the season, Leland Archer, club captain, nearly back to full fitness as this ball is into the box. Turning centrally, it's blocked. The second effort finds the back of the net. Charleston Battery breakthrough. MD Myers makes good out of a cloud of chaos. Battery claim the lead.
Two or three attempts here from Charleston Battery, and it was probably the one that was hit the least cleanest that found its way into the back of the net. Again, it's Malloy picking passes in behind here, trying to thread into this defense. Jennings does well to follow up and keep the ball alive. Good defender, he thought the opportunity was gone, the shot was gone. The first one's blocked, and then he doesn't hit it clean whatsoever. Not sure Peru turns his back to the ball, and it finds its way into the side netting, and Andy Myers has been the first to break the deadlock in this game.
That is his 6th league goal in 2025. And it all changes just ahead of halftime. Felt like it might be coming for Battery. Turned in behind off the toes of below. And a tiny tackle at the back by Apononu.
We knew we were going to see goals in this game, but for sure I think we're in for a very exciting second half. I don't believe Loudoun have lost at home so far this season, and with the second half still to play, it's going to be interesting to see how they come out to approach it, get themselves the equalizing goal, and possibly go and push for the winner.
In fact, Chris, it is the longest home winning streak in club history at 4 games currently. Longest all-time unbeaten at stake here today. That was 5 set last season into stoppage time. There will be 3 minutes of stoppage time. Brought to you by Novak. Novak's energy-saving tips are a real game changer. And 3 minutes is enough time to change the game for Loudoun United. Could bite back in this period. See how much Battery sit off and try and protect this lead into the break. Nyman shifted along. Learman. Ben Mines. He gave the ball away. Sprinting forward is Arturo Rodriguez with Jennings pushing the issue. Jennings left it behind him. He gains it back.
What Jennings did well, they tried to find a way to keep the play alive despite losing it. You can see how laboured the players are in getting forward, but also in retreating into defence. As coaches, sometimes you can be a little detached from the physical demands of the game, and you just see players in X and O's and where they should be. But I think it's definitely one of those days when you have to take the temperature, the humidity into consideration and possibly adapt the tactics a little bit. It's definitely going to be a game that requires the assistance of the players coming in from the bench to freshen up the energy and keep the shape and organisation of the teams on both sides.
With that first taste of summer soccer for both squads. Once the calendar flips to June, things start to heat up, pardon the pun. Foul was given against Charleston, possibly for simulation. There's Cal Jennings, who was going to hit the deck. Been a frustrating afternoon for the most part for him. Not had much access to the game. Maybe the sign of the quality of both teams. The star players have been, for the most part, neutralized. That's true for Battery and Loudoun. Here is one of them, Abdulatif Abukora, whose name in the Egyptian dialect of Arabic literally translates to father of ball or ball father. Into the area. Claimed by Cal Jennings. And that takes us to the intermission. Pick the bones out of that. 1-0, MD Myers, the point of difference.
Charleston also clearly going in with the upper hand into the break, but it's going to be interesting, as we spoke about. Loudoun yet to lose at home this season. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt. They're definitely not going to go down without a fight. Fatigue and fitness is definitely going to play a big part in this game, and I think the depth in the bench is going to have the biggest impact. I would say that Charleston might have the stronger bench, but it's going to be interesting to see how Loudoun use their weapons that they have on the touchline.
Ryan Martin to the drawing board, his side from the trailing position after 45, 1-0 here in Virginia. A clash that's delivered what it promised to the best in the East. Exchanging blows. We'll break it down when we come back.
Beings from another world come to Earth.
Turn left at Alpha Centauri. You can't miss it.
Watch for signs of hyperintelligence.
How long is a galactic year?
250 million years.
A love for rocketry.
I remember them going up higher.
And the capability to destroy humanity. Or could aliens live among us already? You decide on the Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
DC News Now is on Roku. Early morning, ready, set, Roku. Afternoon, Roke Us. Evening, overnight, whenever you want, Roke it on Roku. Need your weather? We've got that. Want to see what the community's up to? We've got that too. Looking for ways to stretch your dollar? Roke your savings. Newscasts, features, weather, sports, living local DMV, and custom content just for you on Roku. Search DC News Now today and let's Roku and roll.
You have the power to save. Take charge of your energy bill with these tips from Novak. Adjust your ceiling fans to rotate counterclockwise for warmer weather. Novak also recommends installing a programmable thermostat to avoid cooling your home when you're away. Set your water heater to 120 degrees. Novak is helping members save energy, which means saving money. Harness your savings power. Find more tips and tools at novak.com/save.
At the break here in Virginia, halftime is brought to you by Van Meter. And for the home side, here's what's coming up on the road here in the USL Championship. The upcoming schedule for Loudoun United against a very potent Detroit City FC side. Next time out, continuing this run of home fixtures for Loudoun United, then away to Hartford before facing Louisville City for what feels like the billionth time already this year, just having beaten them for the first time ever last weekend in the Jägermeister Cup. Speaking of the Jägermeister Cup, Charlotte Independence will be the next opponent in that competition for the group leaders, Loudoun United, and then they will see Orange County SC with 4 out of the next 5 games at home for Loudoun after today. As for Charleston Battery, this is what it's looking like for Ben Pierman's bunch. His group at Hartford Athletic, as they will play them for the second time in this early portion of the campaign, then at Miami FC before getting a chance to see the side that beat them in the USL Championship final in 2023 in Phoenix Rising. That's on June 21st at Patriots Point. Away to South Georgia Tormenta. After that, trying to find the first victory in the Jägermeister Cup for Charleston Battery after failing to beat their first 2 opponents in that competition. Then away to Birmingham Legion, a rejuvenated team under Mark Briggs, trying to find form. Always a good one when those 2 titans of the tier tangle. Again, that Jägermeister Cup round is the 3rd round at South Georgia Tormenta as Battery trying to get their first result in that competition and save a little bit of face. Ticking down to the second half kickoff. More halftime coverage coming to you when we return from the break.
This week on USL All Access, head coach Ryan Martin from Loudoun United joins us to talk their recent success and how it's more sustainable this time around in their long-term vision. How about the Oakland Roots? Day 1, they dismissed Gavin Glinton. End of day 1, they named Benny Fellhaber as their new head coach. We got USL Jägermeister Cup action. Sacramento Republic in Indy 11, perfect halfway through the inaugural edition of this tournament between the 2 leagues.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off it. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Focus! Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Whatever it takes. Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain. Let's make a Karate Kid. And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
What a start to the season at Louisville City League!
Joe Brito! Oh, it's magnificent!
it! What a finish!
DC News Now, bigger and only getting better.
Join us as we welcome Susan Tran to the DC News Now team.
Decades of journalism experience, a steadfast commitment to community, and an energy we can't wait for.
Susan Tran joins DC News Now, super serving the DMV with Susan Tran at the anchor desk.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now.
Halftime coverage continuing, presented by Van Meter. As for the news and notes from around the league, getting into that part of the calendar where stuff starts to really take shape. And for Oakland Roots, new direction for them. Benny Fehlhaber introduced as the manager, replacing Gavin Glinton only 24 hours after it was announced that he would be departing the club. And for the Stars of the future, we've got plenty of big names breaking through in the U.S. Youth National Team ranks, as with Sacramento Republic's Blake Willie and Tampa Bay Rowdy's Nate Worth being part of those rosters. Much more of the youth movement in the league, certainly contributing with the youth national team. And then a couple games on ESPN2 in the Jägermeister Cup. You've got Westchester SC and Detroit City FC, as well as a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals from a year ago with Louisville City FC and Rhode Island FC there. As for what's going on around the league today and looking forward, Chris Nurse, here is the schedule for Week 14, and hard to miss. Louisville City, Tampa Bay Rowdies, as good as it gets in this division.
Yeah, a couple of seasons ago, we may have been a little bit more enthused with this fixture than what we're seeing this season. Louisville, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tampa Bay just haven't hit the ground running as we're used to seeing them. Louisville obviously continue with strong performances, but coming off a tough game last week against Loudoun, we'll see them again shortly. Republic versus Tulsa is going to be a very exciting fixture later tonight also.
Absolutely. Two of the brawlers of the league already seen each other once this year. A chance for Sacramento Republic to maybe get some revenge, and then the late show as well. 10 p.m. Eastern, the first chance to get a look at Benny Fehlhaber.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets off the ground running. Coming in this time of the season, you're inheriting the squad. You haven't had the chance to put your own style of playing things, to bring in your own players. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he's able to reorganize what is already existing.
Coming up, second half here in Loudoun between Loudoun United SC and Charleston Battery. Folks, don't go anywhere.
DC News Now, the only station focusing on the entire DMV. Reporters in 5 locations throughout the region. A look at weather with a regional approach, so you always know what's ahead. And an unmatched commitment to local news. More community, more breaking news, and more weather coverage for everyone in the DMV. Join Chris Flanagan, Susan Tran, and Janessa Webb. Watch DC News Now tonight at 10 on DCW 50.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days.
Unlock that phone for me. What's in there that you cannot show me?
See what's taking over everybody's feed.
You did try to gaslight her. You did try to mislead her. You did try to manipulate her.
I don't even worry about that at all.
This is a lot of chaos from the beginning. A lot. All season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
At Luray Caverns, there's only one thing more timeless than the formations.
Grandma, check this out.
The memories. What will you discover? From down below to way up high, there's fun in every layer of Luray Caverns. What will you discover?
Meet Bob.
Did you sign up for your boating class?
Nah, I gotta learn how to swim first.
Meet Abasola.
New shoes?
They are a lifestyle.
They fell in love and now have a blended family.
You are a bad influence.
You're welcome.
Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abasola loves Bob.
Everything's gonna be great.
And Bob hearts Abasola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
With much anticipation into the second half, halftime is brought to you by Van Meter. Peyton Gallagher with Chris Nurse. This has lived up to the expectation. Charleston Battery and Loudoun United FC through 45 minutes. Charleston Battery are the ones conjuring most of the attacking flair.
And as we expected, Torres having a big part to play with his ability to see passes. Cal Jennings in behind with a great ball in behind from Torres. Gets it down. You'd really expect to see this one hitting the back of the net, but Farouk comes up with a massive save with the outstretched leg.
Handful of great chances for the side from South Carolina. This time, Loudoun would be on the front foot. Abdulatif Abukora opening things up.
Yeah, one of the few times we called his name in the first half. Receives the ball here from below, gets forward, drives, showing that little spark that gets fans up off their seat. Fairly straightforward save from Zamudio in the end.
Only around 15 touches for the leading light for Loudoun in the first frame. It was Battery again knocking on the door here, MD Myers.
Great delivery here from DeSantos from the left-hand side. Myers all alone in the box, guides it on frame, but again, Farouk well positioned to push this one over the crossbar.
It was a bit of foreshadowing, as this time it would be MD Myers not to miss in the face of goal. Scramble in the box, and eventually Battery would break through.
Yeah, it was Malloy here probing at the defense. Little floated ball up, and Myers at the back post. Probably not the cleanest strike he'll have in his career, but sometimes they're the ones that make the difference and find their way into the back of the net, into the side netting, gives Charleston the lead.
Funny how, with all the great chances, that's the one that goes in. But Battery will take it. Here are the stats from the half, and Loudoun, despite strong start, quieted about the back 30 of the game.
Yeah, we spoke about this Charleston attack. 26 goals so far in the USL Championship. The highest scoring, highest offensive team so far between both conferences. Loudoun going to have to find a way to keep them quiet in the second half whilst being offensive, open themselves up and finding a way to get themselves goals. So a big task for Loudoun in the second half, especially given that they're not winning the possession battle also. But I don't see them laying down without a fight. I see them coming out guns blazing. As we spoke about, the heat, temperature is starting to have a huge impact on the flow of the game. It's going to be interesting to see how the players coming in off the bench are going to be able to have a positive impact.
Partner, that might be the most telling stat. Loudoun have controlled about 54% of the possession in their games this year, 41% in that first half. Now that they play the role of chasers, we'll see exactly how much of the ball they might command. Those fans are waiting for their side to look like they've looked all year.
And as we spoke about, the game's been a little bit more transitional than we've been accustomed to. Both teams opting to play a little bit more direct, try to catch the other team on the counter-attack, more so than be a little bit more patient and methodical in their build-up play. It's been the tactic of both teams trying not to give too much away in the defensive third in terms of passes and needless giveaways.
Now with Loudoun down a goal, you always wonder how that first goal scored might open the game up. It can be a dose of truth serum to a team that's maybe being a little bit more cautious. Loudoun must play the role of protagonist from here on out. No changes for either side in this summer heat. To start the frame, important to note that since Ben Pierman took over in Charleston in 2023, they have dropped the second fewest points from winning positions, only 22 total. Only Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh has been better in that time frame.
Loudoun have to find a way to get Abukura more involved, to find him in spaces where he can be dangerous and effective. Charleston have done a good job of playing close attention to him, not allowing him to have much time and space in the attacking third to be able to influence the game.
Loudoun have been the league's leader in passes in the final third this year, usually just above 130 per game. They are only at 50 right now in this one. As JD Torres will send us back in motion from Virginia. Most important thing for Loudoun in this first 10 minutes or so go.
For Loudoun, I think they have to be very careful. Of course, they'll want to try and get themselves an early goal and get the equalizer, but they also have to manage it, as we've spoken about. Charleston have had the most possession. They have had the better of the chances created, and they do possess one of the best offenses in the league. So the more you open yourselves up, the more vulnerable you are to conceding against them. But they can't afford to sit back also. They're a goal down, they're at home. They want to keep their defensive record at home of not losing that they've maintained so far this season. So they've got to be offensive-minded. They have to be on the front foot. Offense probably has to be their best defense for the early portion of this second half.
Conducted wide for Torres. And tilting out of touch. Blackstock. Oh, that's a clean turn from Malloy.
And I think I did pose this question last week. With Abukora having more than 50%.
Torres taking aim and didn't have the bend right. Hugo Farreau with some choice words for the back line.
He is a player who does have the capability of pulling the trigger from that distance, but doesn't quite get the venom on the strike they would have liked. But we did pose the question, when Abu Kora has a quiet spell, being the player who has more than 50% of Loudoun's goals, who's going to be the next player to step up and take over that responsibility? And tonight is probably one of the nights when that question becomes valid. It's been a fairly quiet night. There's not been anybody that's really stepped up to provide the offensive threat when Abu Kora isn't quite firing on all cylinders like he has so far this season. So that's going to be one of the challenges I think Loudoun have to face. They're going to have to get more players who are capable of getting themselves on the score sheet and sharing that responsibility a little bit, just so that they don't go through phases tonight when there may be a dip in form or defenses are paying a little bit more attention to Abu Kora and he's not getting the freedom that he normally gets. Somebody else is able to provide that attacking threat.
Right now he swaps out with Valleau, gets a hold of the ball just on the edge of the 18. Valleau, and it's snatched away by Blackstock, who clears the lines. Abu Kora, still Abdul Latif Abu Kora, a blinding run down the line, finally snuffed out. It's a corner kick coming. Hosu was the one who took it out of touch. This is an IBEW Local 26 corner kick. Loudoun United casting their attention into the area. IBEW Local 26, empower your future. Trying to dream up a new one. The home side. Abu Kora, all eyes on him. Zamudio strong out of the box. Talked a little bit about Farou's previous experience with Charleston Battery. The same can be said for Zamudio, who spent some time in the DC United system, down with Loudoun United. This is his first career start against Loudoun United. A lot of shared DNA between these teams in terms of personnel and patterns of play. Passes that rhyme. Just painting them around right now, Loudoun United.
This is where Loudoun may be able to get their success. If they're just able to be a bit more patient in possession of the ball, make Charleston do a little bit of chasing, the gaps are going to start to open up, and that's where they're going to be able to find Abu Kora in dangerous spaces where he can be efficient going towards goal.
JD Torres, runner in the channel.
Torres saw Malloy making the run forward, and to give Malloy credit, that's something that we've spoken about, that we haven't seen that much, is players just making bursting runs from midfield in behind the defensive line. He wasn't rewarded for it, but Torres definitely acknowledged his efforts by giving him the hands up and just saying, hey, how comes he's not giving out a yellow card here, huh?
Yeah?
Is the yellow card going to here?
Hand up, my bad.
It's a strong tackle here from the referee.
Proper.
Hey, we've had a little bit of everything in there tonight. Goals, tackles, yellow cards.
We were talking pre-game about how the kids don't know who Roy Keane is. Promising to Bill Densalon's been studying the tape. Cal Jennings. A tight turn and dodged away for now. It's another corner kick.
That might have been the worst foul we've seen yet that went unbooked.
Wonder what they're scheming. Arturo Rodriguez, JD Torres. This does appear to belong to JD Torres to deliver within swing. Farou kept it calm and cool. A chance for transition.
Looking to restart play quickly, Farou.
Screaming into the center. What a touch to take it down, Abu Kora! And it's just narrowly dodged away. Zamudio with the save.
Fantastic counter-attack here. It starts with Farou clutch in the corner out of the air. Kick starts the attack. This is a great ball in behind, and the first touch for Abukura is absolutely beautiful. He really should be burying that in the back of the net. But this is the magic he does possess. He does have so much quality, and when he is into the game, that's what we expect to see. Fantastic chance to get himself level pegging. It was Nyman who found him in behind. Just lacked the final finesse with the shot on goal to get the equalizing goal.
Marking in an IBEW corner kick.
Big moment there for Loudoun, but you can see where Charleston can be vulnerable on the counter-attack when they throw bodies forward, and the opportunity is there to get them quickly in behind the back line.
Maybe a warning shot from Loudoun United. Ryan Martin was adamant that he relishes the opportunity, he and his team, to play squads like Charleston Battery because they learn the most in these games. Chance to understand maybe what minerals and material they're made out of. Loudoun United, you know, what's left in this contest.
Yeah, I think one of the things you're going to learn in a game like this is you're not going to get many chances. So when you do have quality chances like that, you're going to have to take them. If you're not going to dominate in terms of possession, the few chances that you do create on the counter-attack or in transition, you have to be clinical and make them count. And that was probably a big chance wasted.
Hosu has already been booked once. He's going to avoid any kind of cautioning here. Referee does have the yellow card out, though. Looks like that's going to be shown to a Loudoun player.
Nyman here probably gets caught in the middle, taking a few too much touches. Finds himself in trouble, and I think he just dives on top of the ball and puts his hand on it to stop the counter-attack from Charleston, and I think referee gets this one right, going into his book for the yellow card there. Just taking one too many touches, tries to turn, he actually turns into trouble with two players, and
pumped in behind. The flag's going to stay down for MD Myers, who chops onto his left. Spots the man in the center as Cal Jennings. Cal Jennings! And straight into the view of Hugo Faroux.
Looking for that quick counter-attack again, Faroux.
Misguided ball into the center. Cal Jennings tracking all the way back to intercept.
Awuah has been fairly quiet tonight also. He had a big impact in last week's game with his ability to pick up the ball and drive forward at speed and commit defenders. But he's definitely been pinned back in his own half tonight. Not too many opportunities to cross the halfway line because obviously he has Torres on his side, he has Blackstock on his side, so that's a big defensive responsibility he's had in this game.
Had the assist against Louisville, you said it. The team's touch leader so far this year. And Ben Pierman is certainly alert to what kind of impact he's had all year long, and really the plan, in the words of the gaffer, was to try and pin him in with the ball, use it as a defensive weapon in that way, and it's been effective. Riley Bidwa is being prepared for Loudoun United to come on. Clutched by Nyman. Time to turn. Below. Runner in the gap. He sees him. Man down. No foul. It was Mines who was cutting across the face of the back line.
Have to see that again, but I think it's a great pass into the run of Mines there from Velo. I think there's definitely a little bit of contact there from Dos Santos.
Referee may have been forced to reach for the back pocket had he called foul. For a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, it would have been tight. This is a crushing tackle in the center circle now, though. No questions here.
Could definitely sympathize with the frustrations with Loudoun in this situation. They easily could have had a free kick given for them. Now it's an easily a free kick given against them that could have gone either way.
And it was Ben Mines, the one who felt hard done by the no call, who commits the foul. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. And it is Ben Mines who makes way for Riley Bidwa to come on. The substitution is brought to you by Segra. Bidwa enters the match. She is the league's leader in substitution appearances this year with 9. Only had 7 all of last season. He's accepted and relished this role, if not thrived, in 2025. Believe it or not, despite the limited action, he is the team's leader in touches in the box this year.
Play it down in the middle of the field there.
It's a good point out, partner. JD Torres is down. I think it might be difficult to convince somebody that JD Torres took his own shoe off. I think that's the case he's making to the referee. Thoughts on the boots with the socks built in?
All right, then it makes sense. Not sure I actually saw him tie his laces there, but might have an impact on the boot coming off so easy, but it's back to his feet. It's always good to see one of the league's best attacking players. We don't want to see him going down injured. Obviously, the fans are a little upset because it's not head injury, and if it's not a head injury, then I'm not sure that's a moment when the referee should really be stopping the game because a player's boot came off. Unless he's given it as a free kick, which he didn't. So I think there's definitely a grievance there from both, or maybe both sides. Maybe both sides may be frustrated in the decision there because there's no clarity on when the referees will stop the game for injuries.
Abukura! Danger close. The star players, when their teams need them, tend to get more involved. Abukura.
He's had a couple of opportunities in the second half. Just tries to open his hips and bend this into the far corner, but that's a little bit too high and wide of the post.
It's a risky pass, Malloy. Softly back, Edwards and Blackstock. Edwards in a bind. After grabs in mid-park, McCabe. Looks like Velo has dropped a little bit deeper here.
Earlier in the game, Charleston weren't building out from the back as persistently as they are now. They were definitely a little bit more direct, and they're starting to feel a little bit more pressure because Loudoun are pressing them high. They are struggling to get out of their defensive third, and it's allowing them to pin them in defensively and try to create more goal-scoring opportunities.
Again, this is where the heat really matters. Get a team running and chasing for an extended period. And wear the opposition down.
I think once Charleston did get the go-ahead goal, they maybe changed their approach or their style of play a little bit and realized being transitional in this heat may have been hurting them, and that they do need to try to sustain possession of the ball for a little bit longer, whether that be in the midfield third, the attacking third, or when they're building up from the back.
Awua. Abukura lets it ride. Bidwa, it's blocked.
Ball just holding up in the turf there a little bit more than it would have liked. Lots of runs forward, just getting stuck under attackers' feet.
Loudoun starting to squeeze their grip though. Nyman, Abukura. Awua. Gonna stay in. Keegan Tingy. Below. Charges a ball into the area, and Zamudio ends the move.
Loudoun having a sustained spell of possession in the attacking half, but just failing to make any meaningful opportunities come to fruition. It's coming up to that time in the game when you do start to see the subs get the equalising goal and strengthen the offense.
Flag is up, offside. Eric Del Rosario, Gandara, Adam Sala, 2 linesmen today. Joseph Koff is the 4th official. Velo, who squarely has dropped into a midfield deployment, replacing Ben Mines in that position. 2 true striker approach now for Loudoun as they chase the game. Bidwa, the Sled Dogs, leading the line. Snapped up. In for MD Myers. Reinforcement arriving. Cal Jennings. Guiding wide for Torres. Torres! Again turned wide by Farouk.
Torres just ever so well here. Charleston do well in moving and circulating the ball. Torres does well to get the ball out of his feet and get struck off here. Just shifty. Dips his right foot in his shoulder. Drags it onto his left foot, his favoured left foot. Jennings does well to find him here. Once he's inside the box, you have to be so careful. Creates a space for himself, gets his shot. He probably should have bent that towards the keeper's right more so than going for the near post, but Farouk again comes up with a massive save.
Had Colt Turner for dinner there. Pressure renewed though, a corner kick. Malloy, routines. JD Torres on the left foot. Headed off by Velo. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, people say it's the player's choice. And it looks like a couple of substitutions going through the final checklists ahead of coming on in this important stage in the match to provide a little bit of game management for Charleston Battery.
Yellow card is issued, 64th minute. The Charleston Battery covering Juan David Torres.
Yellow card there shown to Juan David Torres for slowing the game. Yellow card is presented by Continental Cards. Continental Cards, elevate your collection. Edwards. Chance to step on the ball for Charleston Battery. Blackstock. If you're Battery here, no real rush to get towards goal.
Yeah, definitely being very patient in possession now. But again, we've seen Loudoun be dangerous on the counter-attack, so they have to be very careful of giving away possession needlessly.
Michael Edwards. Malloy, a little bit of hesitation in possession, but he gets it back. Gained by Nyman below. Wide eyes and a wide man. Rushed into the box and glanced on by Bidwa. Recovered by Awua ahead of Nanan Hosu. Awua's gone to ground, no whistle. Already booked is Hosu. On a razor's edge there, Nanan Hosu.
I'm not sure there's much conversation to be had here. I'm not sure the referee has any other choice. It'd be very, very lenient with him if he doesn't issue that second yellow card.
Now, it doesn't look like it's going to come. Here's a look back at the chance. And here's what happens at the end line.
Awua does well to protect the ball here. Picks his moment. He gets past him. Oof. I don't think there's any question of that. That's a second yellow card.
Ben Pierman might be wise to get Hosu off the field right now. A couple midfielders coming on. And that is day done. Could have been a very different way that Hosu exited the game. As Ikaza and Klein come in.
I'm not sure if this substitution was already planned or if he changed his mind after he saw the tackle, but definitely a smart choice there from Ben Pierman.
Klein in his first season with the club, in from the St. Louis City program. Also looks like a change is being prepared for Loudoun United. Bibi Karamoko, the youngster just brought in on loan. And on the heels of all that calamity, it is a free kick. Abdulatif Abukora. And plenty of big targets to aim at in the area. Low driver. It sits up, it's struck, it's in! Moses Nyman parts the crowd and puts his side on level terms, 1-1.
Be interesting to see if Abukura is credited with the assist here, but it does come from his free kick delivery. The ball just fizzles across the face of goal. Nyman hanging out just outside the far post. Makes no mistake, drives it back across goal into the bottom corner. And you might say justice is served. Obviously the free kick comes off the back of the foul from Husu, who maybe should have had his second yellow card, but Loudoun get the equalising goal off the back of it, so I'm sure they're not complaining anymore.
First of the year for Moses Nyman. Presented by Hanley Energy. Energy management for the digital age. Folks, we might be entering the age of Loudoun United. A side that have looked something totally unrecognizable in 2025 on the upward arc and making a loud statement. 69 minutes in and level with the team atop the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, we knew that they were going to come out in the second half. They weren't going to throw in the towel at all. They were going to come out fighting, and they've done exactly that. They've had a couple of opportunities earlier that they should have got themselves on level pegging. And finally, in the 68th minute, they had the moment that makes the difference from Nyman.
And now they're showing their fangs. How does the game change now?
Now it becomes a little bit different. As you saw, Charleston changed their approach a little bit once they got the go-ahead goal. They're a little bit more patient in possession. Now the game, I expect, will open up a little bit more than previously. And as we spoke about, the substitutes coming off the bench, Ikaza and Klein, two players that are not strangers to us whatsoever, both have quality and ability to impact the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how those fresh legs are able to keep the tempo of the game at a high level.
A bit soft on the pass from Ikaza. And a raiding party dressed in red approach the box. Luau couldn't pick the lock. And it's skipped away in the center. Cal Jennings sniffing opportunity and spinning. Wide of him is Torres. JD Torres is in. He's gone unselfishly. It could prove costly. Down by Malloy. Aaron Malloy. It's biteless.
Loudoun just want to kill the tempo here and give their team a chance to recover and take a break. The game's opened up end to end.
Bit of a puzzling decision from JD Torres not to go for goal as a man is down for Loudoun.
Yeah, he just tried to hang up at the back post.
In defense, as Cal Jennings was a one-man army on the counterattack. Abdulatif Abukora might be credited with the assist on the Nyman goal.
I think both teams will be grateful for the break in play right now, irrespective of how it comes around. Opportunity to hydrate and get some electrolytes and get themselves prepared for a very challenging closing 20 minutes of this game.
Here's Ryan Martin, professorial manager, a bit bookish. Sometimes you'll even see the patches on the elbow pads of his suits, but he is as sharp as they come in this league, and the battle behind the battle, maybe even the most interesting part down these final 20 minutes. Ben Pierman and Ryan Martin try and outfox one another. It's been box office. These players have paid a heavy price. You can tell exactly by the color of their shirt what's being put into this. This portion of the match is brought to you by DCW 50.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days. See what's taking over everybody's feed all season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Around the final bends between Charleston Battery and Loudoun United, level at 1-1. That's the man who is responsible, Moses Nyman, erasing the go-ahead goal provided by Andy Myers just ahead of halftime. Hard to think of a time where Loudoun United could be put on the canvas in years previous like that and come back out of the corner swinging hard enough to get back into the fight. That's where they find themselves now. Make no mistake, Loudoun United, one of the Eastern Conference's principal contenders in 2025. They've earned themselves a chance to maybe prove exactly to what extent against Charleston Battery.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams were looking at the past two games, as we spoke about, Charleston and Louisville back-to-back, and they said if they're going to be able to pick something up out of these two games or put on strong performances, then we'll decide if they're a team who can sustain it for the remainder of the year. And I think they've answered that amicably with a big yes, that they're here to stay for the remainder of the year. They've solidified this isn't just a run of form. It's a byproduct of good recruitment, good team cohesion, good chemistry, talent, tenacity, a little bit of everything.
Trust.
Mentality. You go down a goal against the league leaders, you find a way to come back in the game. But there's still a long time left to play, still a good 20 minutes. So it'll come down now to a test of character.
Yeah, amidst the garden of flowers being given to Loudoun United, there still is a game to be played.
This is where they really have to dig deep. When the temperature's like this, your lungs are packing in, your thighs are packing in, your body's dehydrated, and you still have to find a way to keep running, keep making those defensive runs and tracking defensively, keep making those runs in behind as a forward. And when you get there, still having the quality and the composure to finish those opportunities. It's one thing getting there, but sometimes when you're so fatigued, you lack the composure and the quality to finish the play. So it's going to be able to see as the game goes on, the moments that are really going to make a difference.
Well, if there might be an edge in it for Loudoun United that's been absent in years previous, it is the continuity. They've returned 28,000 of their total minutes played from a year ago. That's 85%. And these teams, both, plenty of them, have played with one another. But for Loudoun United, in years previous where this maybe would have slipped because of that lack of fortitude and trust in one another, this year this team has been in the fight, been in these moments before, and know what it takes to get across the line. Poked out a play by Florian Vallot. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. You can get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Apanono and Dos Santos. JD Torres, bit of a heavy touch first time around, but he was able to gain it back. Off of Abukora. Off of Abukora again. Two of the best creators in the league, if not the best, in a real battle on the near touchline. And reinforcements finally for Loudoun United as Moses Nyman departs.
Wonder if this is a little bit to do with the injury that he had and going down and the physio coming on, but he's had a tremendous impact in this game, both offensively, getting the equalising goal, but he's done a lot of dirty work defensively that sometimes can go uncredited. Covered a lot of ground, intercepting plays, tried to keep it in play simple. But as we mentioned, fresh legs play such an important role on days like today.
And that's another change up top as Ryan is going to make way now. As mentioned, previous Karamoko comes into the game. First taste of really important and extensive action with Loudoun United after being loaned in just earlier in the last couple of weeks. 19-year-old brought in from DC United to cut his teeth in the USL Championship. Obviously still a good relationship between the clubs. Klein. Taken off it. Abukora. Karamoko unable to dig it out. We talked about Youth, 19 years old, stepping into the Lions' den of a pressure-packed situation.
At this phase, you couldn't really argue that a tie would be an unfair result to either team. I think both teams have had fantastic opportunities to get more goals, but I think over the course of the game, it really has balanced out. And this game could go in either direction right now.
Battery have probably generated a little bit more. Hugo Faru has stood on his head a couple times. But it's Abukora at the controls now. A roulette. Ball just velcroed to his foot.
He does have that ability to get the fans out of their seats.
And Tingy doing so for the wrong reason.
Tingy doing the opposite, sitting him back down. That's what happens in the moments of fatigue when you get to the last stages of these games. Sometimes you just lose concentration at a critical moment. A great area to deliver a dangerous ball into the box, and just that losing a little bit of focus. And it's just a balance of the temperature, the heat, the fatigue. Everything has a role to play.
Talk about mentality. A lot of the times in these types of climates and conditions, it really isn't the body that lets you down. It's the focus that frays over time.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I would say the change from week to week. Last week it was windy and a little bit cooler here in Loudoun, and now the sun is beaming down and not giving you a break. So it takes a little bit of time for the players to adapt during those summer months, because you do end up playing in these conditions for 2 or 3 months, and you have to adapt your style of play. Your body has to adapt. You have to change in how you prepare for games in terms of hydration and electrolytes and food to counteract the weather itself. So it does take a couple of weeks sometimes once the weather changes for everything to adapt and fall in line once again.
Heady play there from Velo to go down, win the foul, and relieve some of the tension. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157, new Sirius XM app. You could have caught Ryan Martin on USL All Access this week with Joe Malfa and Devin Kerr. Gave a great interview about his team's progress this year and all things Loudoun United. Apparently Mike Watts was out walking the cat again. Flashed wide. Sticking in for a tough challenge is Karamoko. And he's gone in too strong, taking down Dos Santos. Game's lost a little bit of verve and tension after the goal.
Yeah, and quality. Maybe he lost a little bit of quality.
Dos Santos still ailing.
So again, these natural stoppages in play, just an opportunity for players to just relax, calm down, get their legs back, a chance to recover. Because I'm sure going into these last 10+ minutes, there's still going to be a good few number of chances on goal for either of these teams to steal the winner.
To that point, partner, Loudoun have scored the second most goals beyond the 75th minute this year in league play. They've scored 10 of 19 total in the last 15 minutes of halves, likely because they wear teams down in time. It would be a historic, famous goal if they can find a winner in the late stage here. What a tackle from Awua.
Brilliant 1v1 defending there from Awua.
What a player.
Definitely a lot more active in the second half than he was in the first half.
Foul's given, no advantage presenting. Nabil Ben Salah holding a long memory there. It is a free kick for Charleston Battery. Look at how Abdul Latif Abukora is sucking in wind right now. Loudoun must be cautious. This could be dangerous for JD Torres, not to go for goal. Although if there is any player in the league that might be so bold, it would be him. But plenty of space and a passageway to maybe play one in at the back post. It is hooked in. Farou's up for it. And brave in the face of oncoming runners.
Comfortable height there from the goalkeeper, but Farou again looking for that early counter-attack.
Speaking of counterattacks, it is Awua. Bidwa wide of him. Karamoko, and now to Bidwa.
Bidwa's touch there, just losing Loudoun the time edge that they had in attack, allowing Charleston the chance to get 9 players back behind the ball. Now it makes it a lot more difficult for Loudoun to penetrate behind.
Velo looks up, finds Abukora. Needled back in, Bidwa can't gain full custody, but one back high. And swept out. It's a corner kick coming. This is an IBEW Local 26 corner kick for Loudoun United. IBEW Local 26, empower your future. Abukora, last time he got a look in from this similar space, he provided the pass that ended up being finished by Moses Nyman. Only the third corner of the match for Loudoun United. Pumped along, and it's a poorly placed header. Looks like it was Bidwa who was rising high. It have actually been Moses. Check that, Giannis Learman.
You can see his frustration there. He knows he should have done better with that header. I think if he's able to guide it on target, it's in the back of the net. Zamudia wouldn't have much, if any, time to react to it from that distance.
Just lurching away, Loudoun United, and putting the leash to it. Charleston Battery. Battery led the possession battle at halftime. At about 59%. Now Ikaza trying to make use of some. Loudoun have had more of the ball in the second 45.
Good defending there from Turner, beating Ikaza to the loose ball.
Deflection on the way through. Smashed away. Blackstock. Looped in, well placed. Torres. Torres flies one into the area. Myers got a look. Farou was cut out. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball. Free to play. Download now. You could replay this one if you haven't gotten enough. A little bit reckless there from Karamoko. Left one on Aaron Malloy. Karamoko on his debut against a player that's been as experienced in this league down the last 5 years or so as anybody in Aaron Malloy. Two peers, contemporaries, eyeball to eyeball and nose to nose. A gripping 85 minutes. Is there that moment of magic? What's left, whatever that may be. Ikaza hangs on. Now Dos Santos and Malloy. Flipped away by Abukora. Zamudio. Aponono. Pirouette and a pass played. Torres off the shins of Cal Jennings. Torres retracing his steps and flying a ball into the area. And finally, the clearance from Tommy McCabe. It was there for Abukora. Blackstock. Plenty of space between lines right now for Charleston Battery if they can't explore it.
Heavyweight sparring match right now. Both teams just looking for the holes in their opponents and where they can hit them with a sucker punch.
Not a bad way to spend a Saturday afternoon. We thank you for tagging along.
You're seeing good defensive discipline shown by both teams. In defense, they're both deploying similar tactics, 2 lines of 4.
Bit of youthful exuberance and maybe foolishness from Karamoko there. We'll see if it proves costly, as final reinforcement is provided by Charleston Battery in the form of the veteran Douglas Martinez. Only 1 goal in the last 28 league appearances, but he will bring to a close this historic run of goal contribution from Cal Jennings. Exits stage left. Shutout today. Prior to this one, had gone 9 consecutive league games, at least contributing a goal. In by Malloy, a shapely ball, shifted away, Torres! You have to applaud the confidence, not much beyond that.
Dangerous deliveries from Torres. We've spoken about the danger he possesses from dead ball situations. Able to get so much dip and whip on the ball. Makes it very difficult for defenders to read the flight.
Big test of endurance and defensive commitments for both teams. Loudoun United absorbing the brunt of the blows this last 5-minute period. And again, Charleston Battery have, in this recent run of theirs, set the league record for games consecutively with 3 goals or more at 5. Broke their own mark from last year of 4. Only 1 today, none in the half. This is a tight position for Learman. Release valve is his goalkeeper, Farouk. Malloy wins the 50-50. Ikaza. Torres.
When the ball's up in the air, those second balls that drop down become so important, and Charleston just a little bit more on the front foot. First of those second balls right now.
JD Torres, the knuckle applied by Farouk, who's down. Caught one right in the stomach, yeah.
It's again Torres with those deliveries from wide areas, but brave goalkeeping from Farouk. Reads the flight of the ball, attacks it, isn't scared to throw his body into the oncoming players. Comes up with another big save.
I think that might be Douglas Martinez who caught the worst of it.
Oof, they clash heads. We're at the end of regulation time, but I envision we'll see a decent amount of stoppage time added in, 3 minutes. Obviously that'll be extended with the game being stopped right now for head injuries for both players, for both teams, sorry to say.
Minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time added. This is brought to you by Novak. Novak's energy-saving tips are a real game changer. Of course, that clock will not start until the 2 players injured are assessed in equal measure. Head injuries, nothing to play with. Douglas Martinez hadn't been on the field for but 5 or 10 minutes. Farouk has maybe been the best player on the pitch today. Already with 6 saves. Claimed another 3 crosses. Straining to the finish line. A price to be paid in bumps, bruises, blood. It will be Farouk to reignite the match. There's Ben Pierman. What's bobbing about inside his brain. Flushed ahead by Faroux. You can expect this game to likely get to the 95th minute. Stoppage time just starting. Ikeoza.
As we spoke about a little earlier, while both of these teams would obviously love to walk away with the 3 points, I think a tie is an equal result, is a fair result of the competition tonight. Both teams have had decent chances. It's been a fairly well-contested match, fairly even, you'd say, over the course of the 90 minutes. Both teams adapting a little bit differently over the course of the game, but it's not over yet.
Sniffed out by Awuah. Abukora. Abukora's shot is blocked. Saw his name up in lights. Back in for Abukora. Pushed wide. Dan brought. Karamoko. Still Karamoko. A touch, another, a block. And winning the race for the ball was Klein. Letting them play down the stretch. Karamoko, a high header, and gave himself the assist on the shoulders of Ikeoza.
It was there, it was just screaming for somebody to get the layoff to have a strike on goal, but maybe just guilty of playing the extra pass there in that situation. Loudoun unable to test Zamudio in the end.
In terms of the long hand on the clock, longer and longer with every passing moment. Awuah, first touch failed him. The foul is ushered in. Feels like the play is only consisted of 30 active seconds in the 3 minutes given, as we've now surpassed what was allotted. Everybody forward, all resources committed to maybe claiming a winner.
Loudoun pushing for that winning goal.
Aimed into the corner. Off the head of Dan Brought. Awuah did not carry out the final action of that routine. Well, Louisville City will be happy if this result holds. Lost in all the headlines of this match in particular. Still unbeaten on the year, but second in the table. They'll play Tampa Bay Rowdies. Game should be just about in action now. JD Torres. JD Torres! And knuckled at the last second. Heart in the shoes of Hugo Faroux, but he holds strong.
If that was anybody else, you may be asking if they're crazy, but if it's Torres, it wasn't far away at all from finding its way into the top corner. The way the ball was swerving and dipping.
And in the wild flight of that ball, this wild ride comes to a close, level at 1. First MD Myers, then Moses Nyman. And the reason, in all likelihood, Loudoun United are able to share the points today, their goalkeeper, the saves of the match presented by Segra. And it started early.
In such a rich vein of form right now, Faroux. Big save from Cal Jennings. Great ball over the top from Torres, gets into his stride, tries to go to the far corner, and the outstretched leg from Faroux keeps this one out the back of the net. Then it's a big save from Myers. Pushes this one over the crossbar.
Hugo Faroux would not be done there, as he would continue to hold the line at the back. It's 1-1, and it's all done. Catch your breath. When we come back, final thoughts. Loudoun United and Charleston Battery inseparable after 90 minutes and then some.
Super serving the DMV means covering the entire DMV.
Weather with a regional approach, so you know what's moving in and where the action will be.
And most importantly, so you know when it's getting serious.
DMV First Warn Days on DC News Now means you need to be weather aware.
So you can prepare, plan, and keep your family safe.
DC News Now, super serving the entire DMV. Get your forecast at dcnewsnow.com.
What kind of future do you want? You have something worth fighting for.
Failure is not an option. Anyone? Just a second, Bradley. Anyone?
On this field, winners are born.
Hold on to your butts. I know who did it.
I know why.
My thing's bigger.
Shut up.
Settle up, partner.
Here goes nothing.
Get your game on.
Thanks for coming after me.
We look forward to our very bright future.
It was worth the fanfare. Loudoun United, a point to prove. It is well proved against the side that ended their season a year ago, taking 2 points off of Charleston Battery, reversing the result late. Drawn at 1-1, a comeback for Loudoun United. They found themselves behind early. Peyton Gallagher with Chris Nurse. This was just before the half. Charleston Battery drew close several times. They draw blood here.
Malloy starts his attack, trying to find the holes in the defense. Torres deflected shot. Myers finds himself in the right place at the right time, guides it on frame, gets his team the go-ahead goal. 1-0 Charleston Battery.
Won't see this one in any montages, but it did put Charleston Battery a nose in front on the road. Loudoun United, though, would not give up their grip of the rope. It starts with this foul from Nanan Hosu.
Yeah, Charleston could count themselves lucky they didn't go down to 10 men, but justice was served in the end. Nyman arrives at the right time at the back post, drills it into the side netting, the equalising goal for Loudoun.
Maybe lost in the drama of the moment. Such a well-taken finish through the crowd. Nyman writes the final chapter as this one concludes 1-1 after 90 minutes. For my partner Chris Nurse, I've been Peyton Gallagher, our entire excellent crew. What a match this was. Loudoun United, mean business in 2025. Folks, we'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.